This is Soldier of Science, and today we will attempt to disprove a God with the very idea of food.
Behold the atheist's nightmare. Now, if you study a well-made banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 ridges. On the close side, 2 ridges. If you get your hand ready to grip a banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 grooves, on the close side 2 grooves. The banana and the hand are perfectly made one for the other. You'll find the maker of the banana, Almighty God, has made it with a non-slip surface. It has outward indicators of inward contents: green, too early; yellow, just right; black, too late. Now, if you go to the top of the banana, you'll find, as with the soda can makers, they placed a tab at the top. So God has placed a tab at the top. When you pull the tab, the contents don't squirt in your face. You'll find the wrapper, which is biodegradable, has perforations. Notice how gracefully it sits over the human hand. Notice it has a point at the top for ease of entry. It's just the right shape for the human mouth. It's chewy, easy to digest, and it's even curved toward the face to make the whole process so much easier. Seriously, Kirk, the whole of creation testifies to the genius of God's creative hand.
It absolutely does.
As always, my friends, I'm just trying to give you a simple explanation of why you should question whether a personal God can exist. I think it is interesting, in the last clip, Ray Comfort points to a banana as being proof that a God exists, when to me, the fact that we have to eat to stay alive is proof that a God does not exist. It's almost a week after Thanksgiving, a time when our families come together and get silly sleepy after eating gobs of turkey and stuffing. But let's honestly think about this. We automatically look forward to our meals. We pride ourselves by being great hunters, farmers, chefs, cooks, and barbecue pitmasters. And this brings us happiness. In reality, eating is work for survival. It takes both time and energy. You have to take time out of your day to consume cells, and then more time out of your day to make some of those consumed cells leave your body through excretion. Entire industries develop around this work, including restaurants, farming, hunting, fishing, shipping, marketing, energy, you name it. The list goes on, all for food, glorious food. This is time and energy, and this is work. In short, we have to eat to survive, and we have evolved to believe this is a good and pleasurable thing. It makes us happy. So I ask, would a God create humans making them have to eat other cells just to live? I'm glad you asked this question, so let us ponder on this together. If you are a believer in one of the Abrahamic religions, you would agree that there would be no death for Adam and Eve if they had not sinned before God by eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And why did God give that tree such a name in the first place? I mean, do we give trees any other names? Just asking. But then in Genesis chapter 2, 16 through 17, God tells Adam they can eat from any of the trees except for the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And if they do eat from that tree, they will surely die. So I know what you're thinking right away.
I'm so hungry. Can I have something to eat?
My garden is filled with trees and plants with the most delicious fruits of all kinds. You are free to eat the fruits of any tree here, except for the tree that stands in the middle of the garden. That tree is called the tree of knowledge. If you eat that fruit, you will die.
First, if they hadn't eaten from that forbidden tree, how the holy hell would they know what death is? I mean, death wasn't even a concept yet. Second, if Adam and Eve were never going to die in the first place, why the hell did they need to eat? Anything! Why the need for a bunghole, a colon, an entire colony of stomach bacteria? Did Adam and Eve not have an anus or colon before they sinned?
I am the great Cornholio. Keepy? For my bunghole?
This is an automatic red flag to any person using logic which says the people who wrote Genesis already were programmed with the idea that food was a good thing, without analyzing its role in our survival as a species. This is why those Bible authors were writing fiction and not science fiction. Let's look at another example in the Bible. In Genesis chapter 7:2, God tells Noah he must take 7 of every clean animal and a pair of every non-clean animal.
Don't give a
We
shit!
don't even have unicorns. They're not real. What do you mean we don't have unicorns? They're mythological. It's a fictional animal, Dad. We're not taking any.
Fictional animal. Well, you just listen, smarty pants. When someone sits down and writes about unicorns later in Deuteronomy 33, Job 39, Numbers chapter 22 and 24, Isaiah 34 and Psalms 22, 29 and 92, are you going to call him a liar? Go and get some frickin' unicorns from somewhere. Actually, no. Ham, you go and get some.
Right, 2 or 14, Dad?
Ugh, what do you think? Have you ever seen an unclean unicorn?
Well, have you ever seen a clean one?
Why would we take 14?
We're taking 14 of all the clean animals.
What, for food? That's actually a very good idea. I'm quite
No,
pleased to
to
hear.
slash their throats and burn their carcasses when we're back on dry land.
Oh, yeah, of course. Hang on. Does that mean we're taking 7 pairs of cows?
Yeah, he loves the smell of burning dead cow. What kind of deity doesn't?
Well, can we...
However, the kosher laws of what was considered clean animal versus non-clean animal were not given until 2 books later in Leviticus 11:3 and 11:7. Hello? Again, suggesting that the authors of Genesis already were practicing kosher diets and somehow just managed to work that into the Noah story before the kosher diet was actually announced to the Jewish people in the Bible. Coincidence? I think not. Let's look at another example, my last. Paul, formerly known as Saul, who I would argue is the person which modern Christians actually follow and not Jesus, had a vision which allowed Christians to completely do away with the old kosher laws of the Old Testament and every other insane law in Leviticus. As if God suddenly changed his mind about those same foods such as pork and shellfish that we have learned, if you cook in the right way, will not make you sick and die. Talk about a great PR campaign to become the most popular Christian of all time. Let's be honest, if you were able to create the perfect humanoid robot, would you create it to need to kill other robots and eat those robots in order to be able to survive? God would have never created man with the need to consume other cells to survive. He could have made humans with green skin, which photosynthesizes the sun's energy just like a plant. This makes me think that George Carlin was right about worshipping a sun god.
I decided to look around for something else to worship, something I could really count on, and immediately I thought of the sun. Happened like that. Overnight, I became a sun worshiper. Well, not overnight, you can't see the sun at night. But first thing the next morning, I became a sun worshiper. Several reasons. First of all, I can see the sun, okay? Yeah. Unlike some other gods I could mention, I can actually see the sun. I'm big on that. If I can see something, I don't know, kind of helps the credibility along, you know? So every day I can see the sun as it gives me everything I need: heat, light, food, flowers in the park, reflections on the lake, an occasional skin cancer, but hey, at least there are no crucifixions, and we're not setting people on fire simply because they don't agree with us.
Maybe the meaning of life is the evolution of creatures which can help sun energy and internal earth thermal energy get to entropy in the most efficient manner. Okay, I'm teasing here. Well, let's think about it. Sunlight gets trapped in our atmosphere, it feeds things like plants, it promotes chemical changes which causes cells to organize and form life, and yet those organized cells need to consume other life, breaking down their structures to prolong their own existence? So which life form on Earth is the most efficient at breaking down cells? Is it the giant redwoods, which don't move too much and taking in sunlight through photosynthesis, breaking down that sun energy, living for over 3,000 years? What about the blue whale? Living over 100 years and consumes 8,000 pounds of krill every single day? That is super efficient, but it lives only in the ocean. What about humans, which number 7.2 billion and expand their weight almost 7 times their own size of what is considered normal? Okay, I'm going to get dark here, but sometimes I think maybe cancer is the most efficient at taking out a bunch of cells. Maybe it's the mosquito for killing entire populations, or the flu. Maybe it's the stomach bacteria living in our gut. But I digress. Since we have intelligence, we can build things like nuclear weapons and elect people who would threaten all of this reality. And that would help the entire Earth's population of organized cells to rapidly get to entropy. I hope this video makes you think about why God would create humans which need to consume other things to survive. And I hope you come to the conclusion that no God would do such a thing. So I have to tell you, this is not some covert attempt to change people into vegetarians. I'm definitely not a vegetarian. But I'm mentioning this because sometimes people say that atheists have no morals. And since I've become an atheist, I find myself asking more questions about our morality. With that said, I think a vegetarian or vegan could make a moral argument using this video, and it would be difficult for me to have a good response. And when I was a Christian, I would have never even considered that debate, because in Genesis 1:26 it says, "Then God let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea, and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all other wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." And certainly I would still argue that we have evolved eating meat, yada 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 yada. So here's a more challenge for everyone. I would love to know if we as humans had a choice to eat food that was put together through chemistry, but was the exact taste, presentation, and nutrition you would get from any meal you have now. Would you still want animals to be raised and butchered to get your food? This will probably be one of my biggest moral questions I have from here on out. And thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe. Food Glorious Food. Thank you all. Soldier of Science.
Sausage and mustard, why I'm in the mood. So jelly and custard, peas, pudding and celluloid. What next is the question? Indigestion.